O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. So, welcome to you all once more. And Pradeep ji, welcome. I request you to start the session for today.
Thank you, Vivaji. Today we are going to study 3 small letters. Out of those 3 small letters, we will collect jewels for our understanding, for our reference in the life, as well as to practice in day-to-day life. So for that, I am going to present you the slides. Yes. So today, the last class, what we have discussed and also meditate upon some vital points. Let us ponder over it. Mahatma, he mentioned, if there is exception, then there will be rule. Suppose we are following some kind of principles. If any deviation, if any exception, and for that they will enforce the rule. Probably at that time, Senate and Hume, they are very eager to become disciple. Of course, Senate is much advanced in the spiritual field because of a previous connection, and Mahatma, he tries also tried his best to make Senate as a disciple. Ultimately, Senate failed. That is another aspect. But there was some exception for which Mahatma means Mahachwan and Master M was some rules, so that the people will follow it and they practice in their life. Then they became aspirant, then a lay disciple, then disciple, like this. Then second point we have meditated. We should be always prepared to learn something new. If we go through the Mahatma letter number 1, in which Mahatma mentioned that for millennium and millennium years, the nature of the human being is same as it was previously. So particularly he referred in that letter, the middle class, means those who are not in a sense of wealth, those who are in the middle of their progress. So they are not accepting something new, which Mahatma tried their best to give us in these letters. Then third point we meditated, good and pure accidents sleeps in the akasa. means there are severe accident rate going on every now and then. Each moment you will mark accident is going on. Here, Mahatma mentioned good and pure souls who met with an accident. They sleep in the Akash as if nothing happened to them because they are pure soul, good soul, and we have discussed an example given by uh, Lord Buddha, in which one of his aspirant, he advanced too far, but the Lord some kind of given punishment, not punishment, some kind of he met with an accident, and what happened, that is a different story. Then how law of karma is also working. Here in this case, we discussed that Mahatma also mentioned in that letter that not only the bad souls, who are in the low stages of evolution, if they have not started purifying their self, what will happen? They will become the some kind of pisacha. Mata mentioned that sentence, that pisacha. So they will be attracted by some bad mediums. As a result, what will happen? They uh, not only they incurred some karma, so also the mediums who are doing such type of activities, attracting those those entities. You can mark even now those type of tantrics are available. They are utilizing those souls for their unholy purposes. Then fifth point we meditate, not to jump hasty conclusions. Every time you will mark in a day-to-day life, one is speaking to us, before he concludes, we will jump as if we uh, uh, know what is the rest of his speeches, what is there. So Mahatma categorically mentioned not to jump hasty conclusions. Then sixth point, not to have ifs and buts while going through different programs. You will mark. There are many audiences. People are. They will categorically mention not to jump. So what will happen? Uh, you will find the people are absent-minded. People have some kind of thinking of other matters. They they are thinking that it is there, if and it is available in other scriptures, and if that will happen, but that like this, Mahatmas. That is the reason Mahatma mentioned, don't have ifs and buts. Then seventh point, if people like Hume, which is not only at that time available, but also it is still available within our society, within our theosophical lodges, they have a very, say, about selfish type of nature. So if that is so, it will happen. What will happen? If we are like that, we are like that person who is like Hume, then Mahatma, there is no question of any help from the Mahatma. So that is another aspect. Then what is what is the quality of Hume which we should avoid? That is insatiable pride. How dangerous it is in spiritual path. Here Mahatma mentioned that is one aspect in which we should avoid the pride, because it is more dangerous for us, as it is dangerous to Hume. For that reason, he left the Theosophical Society just after 4 years. So Mahatma here mentioned that uh, that should not be with us. Insatiable pride, it is dangerous in the spiritual path. Then ninth point, meditated we have at that time, at that on that day, that nobody should write against others, because if we think of others, if we criticize others verbally, that is a different thing. But writing against others, against co-travelers, against the fellow Theosophical Society members, it will become a object for others to see. So we should avoid that. So this is all we have meditated on slide basis. Today we will complete the next three small letters. Let us start with these three small letters. First letter is letter number 78. Chronologically 78. It is 78. Mahatma letter, it is 51. So I am totally going through that slide. Opening sentence refers again to the two portraits of the Mahatma, which DK means Jwalpur was attempting to make. It is available in the chronological, some hints was given. Then how Mahatma mentioned it in this letter. Remember that in the phenomenon intended for Colonel Chesney, there was, is, and will be but one real phenomenon thing or other, an act of occultism. The likeness of your humble servant, the best of the two production of a jewel, I am sorry to say for you. The rest of the performance is, notwithstanding its mysterious character, something but too natural, and of which I do not at all approve. Those members who are interested for Mahatma at that time, so Mahatma, with permission of Mahachohan or their superiors, the Mahatmas, they have given some kind of portraits. But portraits is, as we know, portraits, my portraits or your portraits is not actual, natural, because somebody has seen it. At that time, Jwalpur, who is a senior most disciple of the master Cage, he prepared it. So Mahatma mentioned the likeness of your humble servant, the best of the two production of Jwalpur. So there is no question of original picture. There is, because picture differs while it was taken by an instrument. Here Jwalpur prepared the portraits, and portraits in Mahatma mentioned only two are somehow are the likeness, how Mahatma mentioned himself as humble servant of the humanity or to the Theosophical Society. So he addressed himself as a humble servant. So that is there. So the next sentence, the rest of the performance is, means occult performance by which the portrait was prepared. Its mysterious character, something but too natural, which Mahatma did not approve at that time. So here, what we meditate? We should not meditate on the portraits given by someone. He may be a senior most disciple, but we by meditating on the portraits or on the pictures of any deity or anyone else, we will limit ourselves and we are confined ourselves within the portrait. But so the meditation point for us in this slide, not to limit Mahatma's wisdom in portraits. So let us observe for 5 to 10 seconds this, not to limit ourselves, the wisdom of Mahatma in the portraits. Welcome back. Next is the probation. The probations, next slide, probations are hard all round and are sure not to meet your European notions of truthfulness and sincerity. Next point, but reluctant as I do feel to use such means or even to permit them to be used in connection with my cella, yet I must say that the deception, the lack of good faith, and the traps intended to inveigle the brothers have multiplied so much of late. In this slide, there is a probation. Each and every one who are the obligatory journey, who are in the obligatory journey, face that situation. They have to accept one Sadguru as his teacher, and the moment he aspires to become a student of a teacher, then next stage is depending upon his attempt, depending upon his sincerity, depending upon his devotion, the probation will start. Probation period will start. And Mahatma mentioned these things to those Englishmen, that probation for them is very hard all round and are sure not to meet your European notion of truthfulness and sincerity. There are difference between truthfulness and sincerity practiced in the Eastern world and those who are practicing in the Western world. So Mahatma mentioned particularly to the European Englishmen that the truthfulness, sincerity is different in your case. Because if you mark in different literatures, different letters, Mahatma categorically mentioned that you, the Westerners, particularly Englishmen, you have more interested in your selfishness. So truthfulness, sincerity with selfishness is very difficult to succeed in the probation period. And here in the second point, Mahatma mentioned that, but reluctant as I do feel to use such means or even to permit them to be used in connection with my cella, yet I must say that the deception and the lack of good faith, these are two things Mahatma mentioned here. And the traps intended to inveigle the brothers means white brothers, Mahatmas, etc. Inveigle the brothers means they, particularly Hume, he tried his best to trap the brothers as if they are ordinary persons in the world and they can be trapped by any means. So he, particularly Hume, attempted to trap the masters, and which have multiplied so much means towards the end of this period, probation period of the. So here, Mahatma giving some kind of hints to us, means among us, those who are having selfish interest, even if it is truth, even if we are sincere, but there is some kind of selfishness within us, then we will not succeed in the probation. Because Mahatma indirectly given to us that whether it is European at that time, it is now, we are more modern, more English type of persons. So we have a very good truthfulness ideas inside, but within that, this selfishness is. And for us, this law, probation, is not. So let us meditate that we should have a truthfulness, sincerity, but without any selfish, iota of selfishness in that. Let us observe silently for a few seconds. Thank you. Welcome back. Next slide. And there is so little time left to that day that will decide the selection of the chelas, that I cannot help thinking that our chiefs, and especially Master M, may be after all right. With an enemy, one has to use either equal or better equals. So, here in these 2 points, if we mark it the first point, as if there is no sufficient time to complete the probation period, so that a chela will be selected. Selection of the chela is not with the Mahatmas. It will be selected by Mahachohan. But reference be given. So Mahatma mentioned here that it is very little time left to that day, means particularly once in a year, particular day, they will be selected, they will get selected. So here he mentioned that it is very little time. Second thing, he mentioned that he left it to the chiefs, means Mahachohan and other two, Lord Maitreya and Vaivasuttamanu, they will decide. And especially he referred, Master KH referred, that AM may be after all right. So the masters like Master AM and Mahachohan, they are particularly correct in selection of the disciple. Then Mahatma in the second important point mentioned, with an enemy, means enemy in the Theosophical Society, who are within the society also, and also outside the society, like missionaries, fundamentalists, those who are against the Theosophical Society. So Mahatma mentioned, for the strengthen, to make the Theosophical Society more strong, we should use equal or better weapons to prevent the enemies who are against the Theosophical Society, against the formation of Theosophical Society, as well as the growth of, against the growth of Theosophical Society. Those enemies are not within the Theosophical Society. They are, in one of his letters mentioned, they are anti-Theosophist. They will remain in the Theosophical Society, but they will not study Theosophical text. They will not do what is given to us to practice in our day-to-day life. Rather, they will prefer other things. So those who are anti-Theosophist within us And there are many who are against the formation of Theosophical Society at that time. So also now. So what is the equal and better weapons? How we can counter the enemies of Theosophical Society? At that time, Mahatma guided us how we can be strong in our approach. We are be truthful, and we will show to the world. Mahachan in his letters mentioned how Theosophy will be prosper. Because Theosophical Society is the cornerstone of future religions. It depends upon us how we make it a cornerstone. So like that, we can have a equal or better weapons to prevent the enemy to destroy the Theosophical Society. Let us meditate on it. Thank you. We will go to the next slide. Here, Mahatma mentioned, do not deceive by the appearances. Next point. Is where that I could be as frank with Mr. Hume, whom I sincerely respect for some of his genuine sterling qualities, as I cannot help blaming for some others. When will any of you know and understand what we really are, instead of indulging in a world of fiction? Here, I am taking you back to the previous, to just 4 or 5 slides back, when Mahatma mentioned about the portraits, and we meditate that we should have a vaster wisdom, vaster knowledge by thinking of that aspect of the Mahatma. Say about love, say about compassion. If we meditate on that qualities, as we think, so we become, that is a proverb. So when you meditate on the qualities of the Mahatmas, not on the portraits of Mahatmas, then we will be more like him. Mahatma really wants that those who are aspirant, they should think of the love aspect, which is abundantly available with them, not confined to their portraits. So first point is, don't deceive by the appearances. Second, where that I could be as frank with whom I sincerely respect some of his genuine sterling qualities, I cannot have blaming for some others. When will any of you know and understand what we really are, instead of indulging world of fictions? So the point is, first point, we should not be deceived by the appearances. Then Hume, question of Hume. Hume is a while he was working for the Theosophical Society, within 4 years, he is a very good, genuine member, sterling qualities, all these things. And Mahatma at that time liked him most. And the work he had done at that time, even the present Theosophical Society leaders also recognize that the work of Hume. And in the 4 years, whatever he received from Theosophical Society as a member of Theosophical Society, after he left the Theosophical Society, he formed the Congress Party. He was the first president of the Congress Party. So he is that caliber. He was that caliber. So Mahatma recognized that. Then third point, when will any of you know and understand what we really are, instead of indulging in a world of fiction? World of fiction, you know very well. story, there are many things. This is a world of fiction. So if we imagine the Mahatmas, and imagine him that they are some kind of fiction, there are stories, all these things, and we are thinking of that Mahatma is like that. All these things is a world of fiction, because that is not true. So fiction is a falsehood. Fiction is not true. So Mahatma here mentioned categorically, when will any of you, means any of us, know and understand we really are, what we really are? That is important. What we really are is more important, instead of indulging world of fiction. So Mahatma is uh, full of love, compassion, and all the good quality. What is good qualities? This is all Mahatma. So that is, he is the universal consciousness. His consciousness is so vast, we cannot imagine what is his knowledge. I remember what once Radhaji mentioned, that a particularly dog has a very good instinct. He can observe when his master is coming 3-4 kilometers away. The dog can observe that his master is approaching, because he has that instinct with him. So dog has that quality. And but what the animal lacking is, what is his master? Whether master is a lawyer, whether master is a philosopher, whether what is the master is working in which profession, the animal has because no knowledge of it. Like that, like dog, the human being is limited in his consciousness. His consciousness is limited with his family, with his profession, with his little limited love, affection confined to here and there. But what is the love with master? That is, they have across the human kingdom, they are all in the universal consciousness. We have no absolutely, Radhaji mentioned, we don't have any absolute knowledge how vast their compassion, how vast love, all these things with them. So that is Mahatma. So here Mahatma mentioned, when will you, any of you, know and understand what we really are? So that is important. So main thing, you should not be deceived by appearances. Let us meditate for 5 to 10 seconds on this point. Don't deceive by any appearances. Thank you. Welcome back. Next slide. In case it is relating to Brother Chesney, speaks to you of certain things, tell him not to trust to appearances. So Chesney was there. He also depending upon the appearance, and they will mark everywhere. If the people are more interested in the portrait, the picture of the deity, they will go there, they can worship the deity, any deities they will mark, whether it is Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, they will put flowers and return back. That they're satisfied that we have performed some kind of a religious ceremony. Yeah? So that is one is trusting on the appearance of a deity. So he mentioned he's a gentleman, ought not to be allowed to labor under deception, never meant for him, but only as a test for those who would impose themselves upon us with an unclean heart. So these 2 points mention that even if we are a gentleman, even if we have a very good interest in Theosophical society, our hearts should be clean. Golden Stair says, clean life, open mind, pure heart. Pure heart or clean heart, the same thing. Unclean, unpure heart, we should not have. So a disciple who are or a person aspiring to become a disciple, even if a gentleman, he will be tested. He will be tested because his heart is not clean. That is this sentence, second point I am reading again. He is a gentleman and ought not to be allowed to labor under a deception. Never meant for him, but only as a test for those who would impose themselves upon us with an unclean heart. Those who impose upon us that we want to become the disciple of the masters, disciple of the Sadgurus. So the test will be there. And the point is, we should not be trust on the appearances. And secondly, we should have a clean life, open mind, pure heart. That is, those among us who are unclean heart, they will face the deception. They will, because it is a test for us. Then third point is relating to regarding the crisis in the Theosophical society, and Mahatma mentioned that the crisis is near at hand. And in Theosophical society, some important crisis now and then, every time we will mark, crisis will come up, and the president, office bearers, sincere workers, they will try their best to prevent it. And ultimately, always Theosophical society win. So this is the end of this letter. Let us meditate. Deception is a test for a person who has unclean heart. Just think over it. We should have a clean heart, so there will be no test for us. But test will be there to see whether we are succeeded or not. Let us meditate on it. Thank you. Then the next slide. Here, it is a very small letter containing at least 4 sentences. But here given some related, some important point we can say, we can analyze, we can think over it. Mahatma mentioned, I am tired and disgusted with all these wranglings to death. Wranglings to death, man, it continued till the end. Means what Hume was trying, some way he continued his, and Mahatma mentioned, even if they have tried their best, it is still going on, fighting till then, because of the action of the Hume. Please read. So Mahatma mentioned again in the next sentence, please read this before giving it to Hume, Mr. Hume. So it was handed over to Brother Sinnett, and in the envelope containing 4 inch by 5 inches, this is written on the front of the envelope, on the front of the envelope. Then third sentence, if as a debt of gratitude, he would exact but a pound of flesh. Kindly see this sentence. Mahatma is great linguistic. Master KH is a great linguistic, and he knows, means he has knowledge of English, French, Italian, many languages, and the English he used. If as a debt of gratitude, means he worked for 4 years, so Mata will give some kind of rewards. If that is so, he would exact about a pound of flesh, means it is the inhuman demand you are expecting. What is his expectation? Mahatma should come to the Simla, and like college teachers, they will teach us the occultism, theosophy, all these things. I would have not to say, next sentence, the last same sentence, I would have not to say, but a pound of useless verbiage is indeed more than even I can stand. So the writings of Hume, continuously lengthy writing, is nothing before the eye of Mahatmas. So Mahatma did not like it. So it is a point for us that meditate, that is, that no one should adopt the attitude of Hume. Let us, the small letter, let us be, it is a little wisdom for us to think over. Thank you. Last letter, it is another small letter. We'll go through it. This letter is this is a fraudulent intrusion into private correspondence. Means Hume was entered into the correspondence which is going on between Senate and Master KH. So Mahatma mentioned fraudulent intrusion into private correspondence, no time to even answer your queries. And Mahatma mentioned, I will do so tomorrow or next day. Next time, for several days, I have noticed something like anxiety in your ladies. Ladies means Mrs. Senate, thought about them. Then means they are some. Children's diseases are seldom dangerous, even when somewhat neglected. If the child was naturally a strong constitution, the pampered ones falling naturally victims to contagion. So here, one point that we should not enter into the intrusion into the private correspondence, that we are particularly Indian people are always following that. Then next important is how Mahatma is watching not only the Senate and his wife, but their children. Children is his son Den. He was suffering some kind of disease because of going outside. Mahatma mentioned that if the child was naturally strong constitution, when strong, healthy child, then there will be no danger. The pampered ones falling naturally victim. Pampered one is well looked after children was naturally victim, means contagion, means outside. At that time in the year 1880s, there are many types of disease which is going on in India. So Mahatma, how he was watching at that time, not only at that time, but even now, he was watching each one of us, those who are sincere, honest in their spiritual journey. Mahatma is watching each and everyone, not only the families, but the wives, children, each and everyone is uh, watching, protected, because it is the work which they are doing for the humanity, and in our effort we will help him to do their work for the humanity. Let us observe how great ones watching each and every one. Welcome back. Next sentence. Next slide. I remained her means Mrs. Sinnett, fear of carrying the germs of disease home with her at Hume's the other day, as my attention was drawn to her by the disinherited who was on the watch. Disinherited means Jualkul, the senior most disciple of Master K.H., who was watching, and he mentioned it that the disease came to Hume's house, from Hume's house. Fear not in any case. Fear, a word Mahatma mentioned 2 times, fear. I hope you will pardon me if I advise you to sew of the enclose a small bag, a part of it will do, and hang it on the child's neck. And there are many types of some thing is given, so it will cure. At that time, the medical health was not available, so Mahatma supplied this thing to the to Mrs. Sinnett, so that it will hang on the child's neck, so he will cure. So same meditation, theosophy members, protection is always there, and how Mahatma at that time helped them to cure. So next slide. Unable as I am carrying Homestead is the full magnetism of my physical person. I do the next best thing by sending you a lock of hair as a vehicle for the transmission of my aura in a concentrated condition. Here, Mahatma mentioned important thing. Unable as I am to carry into your homestead the full magnetism of my physical person. Mahatma is not in a position, even if he has the capacity at that time to go there, but he avoided to go there. But what he has done, the next best thing is sending a lock of hair as a vehicle for the transmission of my aura in a concentrated condition. You see what work Mahatma has done for the family of Mr. and Mrs. Sinnett. Do not allow anyone to handle it except Mrs. Sinnett. You will do well not to approach Mr. Fawn too near for a time. So this is the way Mahatma at that time was helping the members of Theosophical Society, their family, and their children. So how Mahatma mentioned the aura. And if we think of the Mahatma, this is physical things. If we think of Mahatma's presence mentally, that is also same thing can be happen to us, and we will be surely proceed in the spiritual journey. So presence of great ones or mentally you can think of that great teacher he is, he was, he is always be with us. Let us think of it. Thank you. So here end the slide. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for explaining these letters. Though the letters are small, but they contain many important points in them. And I now request Brother Sanat Kumar Vyas to give us the Hindi translation.
सभी को नमस्कार. हेलो, एम आई ऑडिबल?
Yes, yes, you are.
सभी को नमस्कार. पिछले लेटर्स से कुछ पॉइंट्स हमको अपनी डेली प्रैक्टिस के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है. 9 पॉइंट्स हमारे बताते हैं. पहला, अपवाद नियम लागू कर होते हैं. दूसरा, सीखने के लिए हमेशा तैयार रहना चाहिए. नया सीखने के लिए तैयार रहना चाहिए. अच्छा और शुद्ध दुर्घटनाएं, एक्सीडेंट्स आकाश में सोते हैं. कर्म का नियम भी काम करता है. जल्दबाजी में कोई निष्कर्ष नहीं निकालना चाहिए. अगर और मगर, इफ एंड बट्स नहीं रखना चाहिए. अगर कोई यूं जैसा हो तो ग्रेट वंस हमारी मदद नहीं कर सकते हैं. अतृप्त अभिमान आध्यात्मिक पथ में खतरनाक है. दूसरों के खिलाफ न लिखें. अपने अगले पत्रों में बताते हैं. जो पहला प्रारंभिक वाक्य अपवाद नियम लागू होते हैं, उसके संबंध में महात्मा बताते हैं कि प्राथमिक वाक्य महात्मा के 2 चित्रों को संदर्भित करता है जो डीके प्रयास कर रहे थे. याद रखें कि कर्नल चेस्ली के इच्छित घटना में एक वास्तविक असाधारण चीज थी, है और होगी, या बल्कि जादू टोना का एक कार्य. आपके विनम्र सेवक की समानता डी कुल की 2 प्रस्तुतियों में से सबसे अच्छी है. मुझे यह कहने में खेद है आपके लिए. बाकी का प्रदर्शन इसके रहस्यमय चरित्र के बावजूद कुछ बहुत ही स्वाभाविक है और जिसे मैं बिल्कुल भी स्वीकार नहीं करता. यहाँ पॉइंट हमको मेडिटेशन के लिए कि महात्मा की बुद्धि को पोर्ट्रेट चित्रों में सीमित नहीं करना है. परिवीक्षाएं चारों ओर से कठिन है और निश्चित रूप से सत्यता और ईमानदारी की आपकी यूरोपीय धारणाओं को पूरा नहीं कर पाएंगी. लेकिन अनिच्छुक के रूप में मैं ऐसे साधनों का उपयोग करने या यहाँ तक कि उन्हें अपने चेलों के संबंध में उपयोग करने की अनुमति देने के लिए महसूस करता हूँ. फिर भी मुझे कहना होगा कि धोखे, अच्छे विश्वास की कमी और जाल इतने दिनों में बहुत बढ़ गया है. एकाग्रता के लिए हमको पॉइंट है, सच्चाई और ईमानदारी को यूरोपीय धारणाओं के लिए परिवीक्षा कठिन है और उस दिन के लिए बहुत कम समय बचा है जो चेलों के चयन का फैसला करेगा. कि मैं यह सोचने में मदद नहीं कर सकता कि हमारे प्रमुख और विशेष रूप से एम ठीक हो सकते हैं. एक दुश्मन के साथ या तो बराबर या बेहतर हथियारों का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ता है. एकाग्रता के लिए टीएस के दुश्मन अर्थात उनके सिद्धांतों के विपरीत जाने वाले समान वालों के लिए समान या बेहतर हथियारों का प्रयोग करें. लेकिन दिखावे से धोखा मत खाओ. क्या मैं मिस्टर ब्यूम के साथ उतना ही फ्रैंक हो सकता था जितना मैं ईमानदारी से उनके कुछ वास्तविक गुणों के लिए सम्मान करता हूं, क्योंकि मैं कुछ अन्य लोगों के लिए दोष दिए बिना नहीं रह सकता. आप में से कोई कब कल्पना की दुनिया में लिप्त होने के बजाय जानेगा और समझेगा कि हम वास्तव में क्या हैं. ध्यान के लिए है, अर्थात दिखावे से धोखा मत खाओ. यदि कर्नल चेस्ली आपसे कुछ बातों के बारे में बात करता है तो उसे दिखावे पर भरोसा न करने के लिए कहें. वह एक सज्जन व्यक्ति हैं और उन्हें एक धोखे के तहत श्रम करने की अनुमति नहीं दी जानी चाहिए, जो उनके लिए कभी नहीं था, लेकिन केवल उन लोगों के लिए एक परीक्षा के रूप में जो अपने आप को अशुद्ध हृदय से हम पर थोपेंगे। संकट निकट है, कौन दिन जीतेगा? एकाग्रता के लिए जिस व्यक्ति का हृदय अशुद्ध है, उसके लिए धोखा एक परीक्षा है। अगला पत्र 79 में, छोटा पत्र है। मैं थक गया हूं और मौत के इस तकरार से निराश हूं, अर्थात अंत तक लड़ना यूम की कार्रवाई के कारण। मिस्टर यूम को देने से पहले कृपया इसे पढ़ें। अगर कृतज्ञता के ऋण के रूप में वह मांस का एक पौंड मांगेगा, जो कि मांग करने के लिए एक अमानवीय कृत्य है, मेरे पास कहने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं होगा। लेकिन बेकार की शब्दावलियों का एक पौंड अर्थात लंबा लेखन वास्तव में मुझसे भी अधिक है, कड़ा हो सकता है। ध्यान, यूं के रवैये को न अपनाना। अब पत्र क्रमांक 80 में लिफाफे के सामने लिखा हुआ है, यह एक निजी पत्राचार में कपटपूर्ण घुसपैठ है। आपके प्रश्नों का उत्तर देने का भी समय नहीं है। कल या अगले दिन ऐसा करेंगे। कई दिनों से मैंने आपकी पत्नी के विचारों में डैन अर्थात उनके बेटे के बारे में कुछ चिंताएं देखी। बच्चों के रोग कभी कभार खतरनाक होते हैं, कभी कभार ही खतरनाक होते हैं, भले ही वह कुछ हद तक उपेक्षित हो। अगर बच्चे के पास स्वाभाविक रूप से एक मजबूत संविधान है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, लाड़ प्यार करने वाले स्वाभाविक रूप से छूत के शिकार होते हैं। ध्यान, ग्रेट वंस वाचिंग ईच एंड एवरी वन। महात्माओं को सभी का ध्यान है। मैंने मिस्टर व्यूम के दूसरे दिन बीमारी के कीटाणुओं को अपने साथ घर ले जाने के उनके डर पर टिप्पणी की, क्योंकि मेरा ध्यान विहीन द्वारा उसकी ओर खींचा गया था जो निगरानी में था। किसी भी मामले में डरे नहीं। मुझे उम्मीद है कि अगर मैं आपको सलाह दूं कि आप एक छोटे से थैले में बंद वो दें, इसका एक हिस्सा काम करेगा और इसे बच्चे की गर्दन पर लटका दें, और तो आप मुझे माफ कर देंगे। ध्यान में, ये सदस्यों के लिए सुरक्षा हमेशा मौजूद रहती है। मैं अपने भौतिक व्यक्तित्व के पूर्ण चुंबकत्व को आपके घर में ले जाने में असमर्थ होने के कारण मैं एक केंद्रित स्थिति में अपने आभा और के संचरण के लिए एक वाहन के रूप में आपको बालों का एक ताला लॉकेट भेजकर अगला सबसे अच्छा काम करता हूं। श्रीमती सिनेट को छोड़कर किसी को भी इसे संभालने की अनुमति न दें। आप अच्छा करेंगे यदि कुछ समय के लिए मिस्टर फर्न के पास न जाए। ध्यान के लिए बिंदु है, ग्रेट वंस की आभा की उपस्थिति होती है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, brother. Thank you for this Hindi translation. And now I invite any questions or discussions which our participants might have. Somebody would like to add something or say something about this? The points which we have meditated upon and how we can apply them in our life. No questions? Pradeep ji, would you like to add some words at the end?
No, it is good that we are here, and we can meditate whatever we have discussed, studied. There was a question from Madhav Sharma from. What is your question, Madhav ji? Last time you asked. It is not available.
शायद लास्ट स्लाइड के बारे में कुछ बोला था उन्होंने.
Last slide.
Just a minute.
Probably he was asking about ifs and buts. Am I right, Madhavji? Ifs and buts. While listening to a speaker or as a student or in any seminar, conference, many things will come to our mind. If that is so, that will happen like this. So Mahatma there mentioned, please avoid whatever they are telling us. It is for the benefit of us, and we should not think of or we should not use this if and buts while listening or reading. Many things you will mark. You will mark in a seminar, in a conference, that if that is so, if that is happen like this. Yes, Vibhaji, if you add something, this ifs and buts. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
Pradeep ji, hello.
Bolo.
Arunima ji, please.
Yes. Namaskar, Pradeep ji.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. So, I want to know something. You said that actually it is written in the letter that when a good soul, when met with an accident, sleeps in Akasha. Is it same when a good soul dies and
that is the letter.
Hello? Am I
Yes
audible, sir?
That is in the letter number 76. Yes.
And
what is your question?
Yes, I am just telling. When a good soul sleeps in Akasha, you said, is it same when a good soul dies an unnatural death, remains unconscious while passing all the subplanes of the astral world, which all have to cross after death? Is it same? Is meaning is same?
Yes.
Actually, I am trying to understand your question. So here it said that Mahatma in letter number 76 mentioned,
yes,
what you were taught is the rule. Next sentence, good and pure accident sleep in the
Akasha. Yes.
Ignorant of their chains. Its sentence continue with a semicolon. Very wicked and impure for all the tortures of the horrible nightmare.
Yes.
The recent train accident in
Baleshwar. Yeah.
More than nobody knows how many, but officially it is more than 300. So suppose imagine one good soul, good and pure. He did not mention about the soul, but subsequent addition will add to that. So particularly a good soul, what is you can imagine Mahabharata, Yudhishthira, a little lie. He met while going through that journey, he met this as scripture says that he met this astral thing or something like that.
Hell, yes.
So
Yes.
like that and pure soul, he purified himself totally, astral
Yes.
body and also lower mental body. He has no desire, nothing with it, no passion, jealousy, etc., etc. Completely pure and good soul. What will happen? He will meet with an accident. At that
Yes.
time, here said it is a Akash, he will be there. So the whatever changes happen, his physical body, his astral body, or something, it is our interpretation at our level, and he is ignorant of their changes. Changes means physical body gone and astral body, astral body gone.
Yes.
He is in the highest level of Akash.
Higher.
So
Yes, that's what
while
I
in the
wanted.
other side,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
that is very wicked. Generally, they are the lowest level of evolution, very wicked, impure, they will suffer. That is given in this
Yes. Yes.
sentence.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Vivaji, would you like to add anything?
Yes, sir. What you have explained, it is correct. In the previous letters, there was a very detailed description which Mahatma Ji had given about what happens after death and the special cases of death, like here, which he has mentioned, the cases of accident. So we know that after death, the physical body perishes, and then the lower principles, that is the astral body and the principle of calm, and the lower manas, it separates from the higher principles, which is the higher manas, buddhi, and atma. And so that is the natural process in case of natural death. But when somebody dies accidentally, his life period, which was he was supposed to live on the earth, that is not completed. So he still has to bide his time for those many months or years, whatever was his lifespan. So in this case, right away, his lower and higher principles will not separate. His higher principles anyway remain in gestation, and along with that, even these lower principles of astral body and the calm. Now see, he has died suddenly, so his calm is also not exhausted. Even that principle remains with him, but it is not active. It goes into a slumber, attracted by this gravity of the higher principles.
Yes. 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 That's what I.
Yeah, all principles go into a slumber. So he's not suffering at all because he was a good soul.
Good soul. Yeah, that's what I want.
Correct.
Yes.
And why Mahatma Ji has mentioned Akash over here? Akash is the fifth element, which is equivalent to the Atmic plane. So the higher principle, Atma Buddhi Manas, that is in slumber, or it is sleeping. And the lower principles also, they go to the same state. So they go to that same Akashic state. That is why he says Akash.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vivek.
Welcome.
Yes,
And
sir.
the previous question which he said about ifs and buts, that was also very nicely explained by Pradeep ji. When the Guru has taken upon himself to give us Gyan, then as an aspirant or as a chela, we cannot make it conditional that I will accept the Gyan or I will take something only if this condition is satisfied. So those ifs and buts, conditional states cannot be there. We have to totally surrender to the Guru, then only we can get the Gyan. That is what I understood about those ifs and buts.
This if is there.
No, thank you. Thank you. Very nicely explained, Vibhaji.
Yeah.
Akasha is the etheric principle. Even if he is on the lower planes, he is on the ether because it is a good soul.
Yes.
And when that etheric principle, that is correct, you have explained. And secondly, ifs and buts, unconditional love is required. There is nothing conditional, unconditional acceptance. Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Both the points are explained. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Nothing to tell.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. So, Pradeep ji, next week we will have the next letters.
Next lecture, Brother Sikhar is he is going to take that.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for joining today. Let us end today's session with our closing prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Sarvesham Swastirabhavatu Sarvesham Shantirabhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Lokaha Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Vivaji. Thank you.